Reyna on Icebox, but Icebox not in the lineup. But Game Changers loves to innovate some compositions sometimes, but really surprised and impressed by the level of flexibility we've had from both these rosters. People like Jazzykins who can go to any role, people like Bob that can fill out any slot that you ask for, and now going on agents that I would say they're lesser known for because they can play anything, but ones that they don't have as much experience in. So we'll be 100 Thieves on the offense that hope to benefit a lot from the explosivity of someone like Jazzykins.
The good thing too is that even though Game Changers like to come out and cook up compositions, it's been copied and utilized even in pro play at the VCTs. I think about Wadada's composition on Ascent when they played Device in Chamber, and now Fnatic uses it, G2 uses it, and a lot of teams started pivoting towards that side. So maybe this might be the next iteration of how you could approach Abyss going into champs. We'll soon find out though, as 100 Thieves are going for a lot of mid control, but it's been separated out by Thea's early wall, and that's a wall that's quite comfortable for Thea until that happens on that push on B main, on A main.
Wow, that is a deep harbor wall. It does not make 100 Thieves nervous at all. If anything, they wanted to step up and punish the harbor, but it's Thea that shuts the door on this round. And through all the chaos, Thea found the shot. 100 Thieves left to try and pick up the spike, but Melia is surrounded by the entire squad while Lydia was scaling her way through B. The captain has to put the cape on her back. Here's the first jump. Tries to put shots on the other side of the wall, but nonetheless, it's FlyQuest with the first pistol.
What a big round coming up from Thea, continuing her reign from that last map of Bun where she was top fragging for the side of FlyQuest Red. This time around, it's a great pivot by 100 Thieves because when they lost that first player towards A main, that was already identified that 4 players were pushing up against them, so you have to try to push aggressively into the mid choke point over towards B. And then you're able to get 2 kills like that, close range from Thea. That shouldn't usually happen, but that's what happens when you have that fragging capability for the side of FlyQuest, and they're able to capitalize now 3 pistol rounds in a row, forcing now 100 Thieves onto an eco where they're going to slow things down for a bit, letting themselves get known here towards this A main so they could maybe get orb control. And it's going to get picked up now by Slandy.
Got like a cheerleader pyramid from FlyQuest. I would have... Oh, maybe we'll still get to see this in action. This Slandy doesn't have recon or drone. The fault line, which will dismantle the pyramid. Marceline picks off 2, and FlyQuest just have 4. Try and salvage this, and 1 is enough to get her immortal and away from this fight. And 100 Thieves now have an anchor, but they have to still dig out from this site. Or doesn't get tagged by the recon, still tries to put pot shots within the entry until Lydia clears that out. Still took some time for 100 Thieves to get that done, allowing for reinforcements from FlyQuest to join the party. Thea's around the corner. Only 1 could still be up top. Oh, Slandy got a bit of a trim on the haircut. Thea looks to hunt it down. Slandy is sick with it. 2 versus 1 on the post plant. Bob should still be expecting Slandy. Maybe thought that she dropped down and got away, but Slandy's just different. She's still there.
Yeah, and the first great start for 100 Thieves where it was the fault line we just talked about with the changes onto that breach, how much value you could get. I think her fault line hit all 3 players going for that high, low, lower stack on the top of that A main that forced some players to push through, allowing Marceline to swing out and getting 2 beautiful sheriff kills openings for the side of 100 Thieves. Then it just makes it so difficult for FlyQuest to rotate across. For me, you're looking at this map of Abyss, very similar to, I like to say, Kuro, where the rotates are so hard to do and long if you're not going to cut through middle. So as you're rotating back, you have 0 information. The top of that A spike got full value for you, and they're going back into the pistol round. Double flash, trying to fight towards main, but 100 Thieves are ready this time.
It's the wide swing from Cora, thinking there was just 1 holding spawn, but 100 Thieves hid their numbers until it was the right moment to strike. Right it was. That's an opener, and FlyQuest, the gamble, will have to be reset back to square 1 and around the corner.
And even the bubble comes up too. That will give you another orb control picked up by Slandy. So going back into initiators, trying to grab the ults. And Aluvali trying to go for a hero play, but she gets picked off, and that's going to make it even more difficult now for the anchor players towards this A site.
You just felt like if you're a FlyQuest, you need to do something before the breach team explodes onto the site. Especially if Marceline gets comfortable. She had 3 that round before FlyQuest responded. 100 Thieves will pivot sites, and it's going to be even more difficult for FlyQuest to retake, but some weapons being left behind. Hey, there's a Vandal, and they still have a Guardian.
That was nice, too. When she dashed across, she got the information of those 2 players in the back of the A site. So that calls for that pivot across, and now you're playing a beautiful plant to watch from the window, to play within that site. It comes down to this 1v1 as well between Melia and Thea right now in the back of middle.
Last player standing.
Melia lines it up, knocks it down. And now the rest is history. 100 Thieves with a big response, and this is for going into the main event where everyone's trying to make their mark, having big banners to represent. Now Ev is just trying to bait people out with the Astra post plan and the fault lines too. Ev is just playing dodgeball against what's left of the 100 Thieves. So 4 Vandals into the next.
And starting to see the value of what they're trying to bring here for the composition for 100 Thieves. Although the Aftershock is not going to get you the best value towards this A site, but it will definitely be good for you to utilize here, anchoring up towards this B site post plant. Then you have Sucks, Shock Darts, so much good utils for the stall in the onto the post plant. So for FlyQuest, understanding these rounds as we continue to evolve from round after round, they're going to have to make sure here that this post plant utility is not available for the side of 100 Thieves. They're doing a great job to create that pressure at the very beginning, though. They're trying to fight and force out this util, especially coming down to this rifle round.
It's Ev cooking. Bob makes first contact, able to call out that mid presence. But Ev is like they want to just wait out the smoke instead of go for any kind of crazy play. At least play off the call from Bob.
Outdrum's not even going to work out. Slaney was trying to sell a fake towards this A side, but because Bob already saw 2 players leaning towards B when she was fighting on middle, especially with Melia falling down, they know this hit's coming towards B. Thea once again has to stall.
Yeah, it's tough to do on the harbor, but down this alleyway just tries to isolate the 1v1, and as 100 Thieves trickle into the site, Thea finds what she can. The rest of 100 Thieves are able to find shelter and a plant. But this is where Ev can have a big impact with these flashes. Wingman won't be able to reach all the way back there. The rest of 100 Thieves playing through main, and Jazzykins tries to hide her presence, but FlyQuest, the backline is strong! Jazzykins is only good for 1. FlyQuest had the upper hand and had the high ground too.
High ground, upper hand, and even 100's Fury. And it looked at the very beginning that Slaney was the only one staying within that site. And then the call had to be made. You have to readjust here to allow Slaney to go back towards that spawn so that they could play the Hunter's Fury on the post plant. But they both kind of swung out just to try to help out Jazzykins, who's creating a ruckus within this B site. And just unfortunately, both of them gets caught out in the open. And there's nothing that Jazzykins could do towards the end. No value off the Hunter's Fury. At least you could carry it over into this round. And Melia is actually using an attack side up. So I think she's going to try to leverage this into a late pick into middle to fight against Bob, who's been trying to find the early information as a KO.
Yeah, Bob has been a nuisance there. And I don't even know if 100 Thieves have... Well, now they may know where... Or Melia has been sussed out, but... Ev could also assist in a big way. Bob is going to ditch it.
That was so close.
Thieves knocking at the door of B, and they found that solo defender, but Bob has already rotated in and is starting to cut and bite at the heel of 100 Thieves. They're able to ditch Bob.
Planted.
It's just Marceline left on the site. There's that first leer from FlyQuest, but the drone from 100 Thieves did see where the push is coming from the defenders. Not a lot at the disposal of FlyQuest. Just Ev, Molly's in a flash. Oh! It's tagging up the Reyna. Wait,
the Dizzy
Cora still gets a kill too. Oh, the Dizzy. I was wondering. Get down, Mrs. President, I guess. Fault line to stop, and here's that Hunter's Fury. Ooh, the delay, the mind games. FlyQuest both tagged. Jazzykin's just the cherry on top, gets the third.
My gosh, I was so lucky that Korra stayed alive on that one when she swung out from heaven. I was just about to mention, as 3 of them are finally playing the post plan outside to secure the round, or try to secure the round with the Hunter's Fury, you just left Marceline alone on the site, though. I would have kind of preferred maybe a 2-2 setup so that Jazzykin's util, because she already used her Aftershock, could be leveraged to maybe flash double fight in that spot. And if Marceline finds contact, you leverage the Hunter's Fury right into what I like to call Aquarium or Grass or Ivy on that connector of the B side back into B. But instead, it comes down to trust the op, trust to rotate across, trust that Marceline could stay alive within that site, and then Slendy still gets value with the Hunter's Fury to stop the Gecko ult. So that was a great way here for 100 Thieves to salvage that previous round. Now you have a big ult round on the side here of FlyQuest if you want to utilize it. And this timeout, with the economy that you currently have, I can kind of see it. If you want to try to leverage maybe a couple of hero rifles around these ults, I'd be down to leverage, or I'd be down to try that out, especially when it comes back to the flood retakes, because you know that usually Jazzykins would use the Rolling Thunder to create that space. So play offsite, use the Reckoning in the Thrash, and then you start entering back in for the flood retake on the side of FlyQuest.
See if FlyQuest can waste out that Rolling Thunder and keep themselves safe. With mostly pistols, it's not looking good for FlyQuest. At least power in numbers, right? But on these lower buys, FlyQuest like to be funny. They like to kind of just jump out when bears come down and try to surprise the 100 Thieves. See if it works out, but for now, FlyQuest just gonna hold their positions.
It's Marceline trying to peek out first, and you see right in the back of spawn the fault line being set up by Jazzykins to try to support wherever she scales in that space. So now he gets spotted, she pings it out.
Deploying drone.
You just have to delay here on the side of Louvely, but no stars to work with anymore.
Drone may have not spotted this. Reyna, Sakura's good for 1. She's able to fade back out, dodge the breach, so do 100 Thieves. That's the Rolling Thunder. No, not feeling good, and not after the null command from Bob.
Yeah, it's going to slow things down for a bit, so this has to be a double insert play. No, it's going to be a fake once again, so Slandy only has Recon Dart. And this insert Armelia could have been a big pick onto Thea to start. And now the jig is up, and you just have to count on aim to hopefully open up the space here for the side of 100 Thieves.
Melia's not going to extend either. Just making sure space is kept and you don't take any unnecessary risks. And
30 seconds left.
This is a good pivot for 100 Thieves. They're very spread out too. I mean, even look where Slandy is. You have cameras and trips all the way through the flank in case FlyQuest try anything funny. Now the Reckoning thrown. Aya targeting Melia, and she's gone. 100 Thieves now sealed off from the site, and FlyQuest can jump on the spike, and 100 Thieves. They have shock bolts, they have a Rolling Thunder. It has to come out, the spike has been tapped. 100 Thieves can't see what's happening, and Thea's on the other side. The gatekeeper of the waterfall, and 100 Thieves, as soon as that drops, so do the rest of FlyQuest, just like dominoes. It's a 1v1, and Ev cannot hold on anymore.
Whew, that was close there, but well done for 100 Thieves. That was basically the winning condition for the side of the Thieves. Yes, we talked about the amount of ults that could be utilized for FlyQuest, but it would have got so much more value if they were able to flush out that Rolling Thunder first. They did a great job stalling over towards that A site, but then giving up B just allowed Jazzykins to move in solo into the site, or move into the site for a plant rather, without getting punished or flushed out. So she gets to save the Rolling Thunder for the post plan, and that's what got the most value there for 100 Thieves. Beautiful shock darts from Slandy as well to prevent the wingman plant. Now this forward position by Korra, not spotted by the dart, but unfortunately was jumping up on the boxes and can reset on time to fight against Marceline. Another beautiful opener, first blood, to kick things off here for 100 Thieves on this A side.
Another orb 2, 1 away from the Cosmic Divide. Lydia lurking through B. It's definitely been the weaker side when it's just a solo harbor, and Bob has to be fluid between the both sites. You know, watching through mid and sometimes getting encounters there, but FlyQuest seem to want to reestablish themselves on A after losing Korra, and it's gonna make the job even tougher for Thea to hold.
Standard exec as well. This should be an open site one more time for 100 Thieves to go for a plant. Always planning at this spot seems to be giving them the most and best value. Especially when Jazzigan's still alive, she stays within the site. Could play, I was gonna say could play back site so she could leverage the aftershock, but trying to use that to create more space for the team.
Cosmic Divide won't even help Illusionly because 100 Thieves are gonna be in their face. They're even on the high ground. All blinded, FlyQuest couldn't benefit. But wait, that Gecko, the Dizzy, got a lot of value. 100 Thieves have broken in. They've kicked down the door. And Slanty's at 30 HP doing everything. And it's 5-2. What a clean round from 100 Thieves.
And that's the unfortunate part for FlyQuest. Even if the Dizzy got value on both players playing on the top of Heaven's side, the Dizzy doesn't flash for too long. So that split second and that solo cage thrown by Melia, Slanty's able to use that as a one-way. As soon as she doesn't get blinded anymore, she goes for that duel into Ivy and wins that fight and even gets a second one on top of that. It was a little bit of delay behind that, the Gecko Dizzy, to allow FlyQuest to get real value on how they were flooding back towards that site. And now you're starting to see the weakness here from 100 Thieves that they can start exploiting towards this B site. So you continue with this conditioning towards this A site. Marceline clearing the corner, fault lines at the ready. You take orb control, and then now you start lurking and you start executing based off the ults that you get. Because I think this is Sova ults, and then you can just plow into the site with Hunter's Fury and also a Cosmic Divide.
And Cora has been on the front lines saluting against 100 Thieves, but this time at the back, and that's the opening, the gap that Marceline exploits while going unchecked. And FlyQuest have been trying to change things up, and now on mostly Sheriffs. You do what you can with what you got.
Right here.
Marceline will be right at the front. There's even a trip there too, courtesy of Melia. Not a lot of safe places for FlyQuest to exploit. Oh, and Marceline already dumping bullets into them. The leader's gonna keep Marceline good, and she dances against trouble. And FlyQuest have broken in. Aluvely continues to deliver on the Sheriff. And Thea is gonna play off of that perfectly. The Cove will allow a defuse to try and get halfway. Slanty responds to the call through the Cosmic Divide, sealing things off. You've stopped the defuse for now. Someone has to go check, and Lydia becomes the victim, and FlyQuest extend beyond it, but don't have the time to defuse. What a heads-up play for Slanty to save the round.
Yeah, another clutch coming in for the Hunter's Fury, and that's 2 of them available within 8 rounds. So the value that they have, how I think it goes back to that same story as we've mentioned and we witnessed on Vine, where the roles have reversed. You're playing a little bit too passively on the side of FlyQuest, and you're always given so much A-side control. The only time where they tried to go for these 4-1s is when they had an eco or a pistol round for double flashes, even triple flashes, to fight for aiming control. This time they're going to do it with rifles, but there's already a read here from 100 Thieves to just default more towards this A-side middle. Which is very nice.
FlyQuest, really. FlyQuest just trying to support each other against the entries of Marceline that have been so deadly at A main, and now with Silence, FlyQuest extend there and try to deal with Melia or give her a neural theft opportunity, but that's going to be ditched. Cosmic Divide puts down the road, paves this for 100 Thieves to get a free, once again, B-site plant.
So nice. Just keeping the insert from Melia to hear all that noise, and here's that double flash. They say, like, if you can start pushing towards this B side, it's pissed around all over again.
Bob has a flash to lead them in, and well, who cares about that? Bob makes entry. Jazzykins respects it, tries to flash and keep FlyQuest suppressed. And oh, that flick was clean. I thought Jazzykins was going off the map, but man, FlyQuest had to punish. Now have to seal off 100 Thieves from stopping the defuse, and the frags come in for FlyQuest, and it's just Lydia, and the defuse still rings in, and FlyQuest get the round.
Couldn't get the spray there onto the wingman to cancel that plan, but there was just too many players to deal with, and no opportunities this time to get the clutch out of Lydia, especially when you have 3 players spamming and protecting the wingmen. For you to try to play the off-site plant in that scenario. It did try to stay within the sites, what I wanted to see in the past too, when I was saying, okay, you can't leave too many players in the back lines and leave one player solo within sight. But it's just unfortunate there that there was just too much util still left available for FlyQuest to flood back with, and too much for 100 Thieves to deal with to find safe haven and safe space to work with. Now a change of pace though. 100 Thieves are trying to look for mid control, and it's an early blade storm from Marceline, and they're trying to break that door potentially. And if it gets broken though, that's 3 players looking to fight back within that doorway.
Well, this is their moment. Says hello to the Sentinel. Blandy will respect that space, but Thea through mid is gonna try and regain control. It's what Ev started. 100 Thieves and at least depend on a B plant after what Lydia has cleared out.
Just unfortunate miscoms coming out for 100 Thieves. It seems as though Jazzikins was set up to fault line and help Marceline get that line into that connector towards that A site, while the other two are trying to just open the door and try to go 2v1 against Ev inside the breakable door. And that's the only rifle that you carried forward that got immediately lost. Now Sandy's looking to pick it up, but gotta say they could have been more players to help. The blade storm was available. That could have opened things up and try to take full control of middle at the start. But at least we get a plant.
A lot of cutoff opportunities for 100 Thieves too, where Lydia is sitting, I guess where Slandy was. She's still good for one though. With the knife thrown, Lydia's been discovered. So now some space for FlyQuest. Rolling Thunder to juggle up FlyQuest, and Jazzykins
Player standing.
at least gets value from her own ults. But wait, Ev! Just still carves their way through. And FlyQuest are catching up.
That was a nice try. I think on a 2v4 on an eco, I could respect what they were trying to do. Rolling Thunder just to try to have Jazzikins delay and maybe to get one where she did. And then you just saw Lydia trying to book it back because she still had 3 stars to work with. She could delay even more with the stars. But as she was trying to backpedal, Evs does a great job to throw their wingman. Gets the stun. Lydia can't escape. Ev chases her down. And then that leaves Jazzikin alone on an island, looking to face against Heaven and Ivy at the same time, and nothing you could do. And as you've mentioned now, 2 rounds picked up and the gap's been closed. A dominant start that we had from 100 Thieves, but since the timeout, we've cleaned up the act a bit for FlyQuest on how we're playing these flood retakes.
FlyQuest not only broke that 4-round win streak that 100 Thieves are on, but FlyQuest are really soaring. Now at the front door. FlyQuest, this plan to try and halt Marceline has to be in effect. Kind of a delayed push for 100 Thieves, not even tapping the orb quite yet. Be a real plan to use the smoke and even a pull for Louvely, but
yeah, it seems for 100 Thieves are just trying to play contact at the beginning, and then when the smoke was a little bit deeper, they tapped on the spike to see if there's going to be any flashes coming out of it. So this is an opportunity for them to cut noise and fight for an entry, and it almost found the opportunity. That might be the call now to just full exec.
Marceline, Queen of the Hill, at the stopper, and it's the Reckoning to do just that. It's too much chaos. And Cora helps FlyQuest work their way in, but now they're fragging now that the Reckoning has expired. Lydia, the captain, and Melia all work together. They storm against Ev, holding the corner. Spike is down, and the Thrash going to lock down this last member. Ev, that's disrespectful. Wait, Thrash doesn't even get there. The Spike has been grabbed, and Melia escapes.
They're cutting to rotate. You're going to have to go through middle to try to get the plant down. I don't think you have time to go here.
10 seconds left.
Oh, it'll be close.
Just got it. But the other one's already closing that gap here towards Ivy.
0.1 seconds left. Can Melia pull off the Red Bull clutch? And it's Bob with a flash. No Dizzy for Ev, but still a wingman that'll force action from Melia. No.
I must wait a moment.
Even more time for Melia. She can play safe. She's already got the duel against Bob. The spike's been tapped. And she has to play mind games against Ev, who's on the high ground. And Melia with the Red Bull clutch.
What a sick round there by Melia. What a flick that she just got there onto Ev on that 1 versus 2. That was just an opportune timing for FlyQuest. The wingman just dissipated right in the front of where Melia was positioned. So they thought that she was still playing back towards B main with the camera being set up. She finds the timing, isolates 2 fights.
That goes there.
And Ev still played it smart to take the upper ground, yet Melia goes for flick after flick and then connects with a bullet between the eyes of Ev, the kill leader on the side of FlyQuest, keeping 100 Thieves in the lead by 3 going to the last round of the half. That may defeat the morale here for allowing FlyQuest to get 5 rounds and for 100 Thieves to maybe even take the lead by 4.
Still not a full buy from the FlyQuest side when you have a Guardian and still a Stinger. Last round of the half. It'd be an 8-4 situation. All depends on that opener, which has been pretty back and forth. Which hasn't been too many encounters on the A main side. FlyQuest would rather minimize those risks. 100 Thieves will end at B yet again. Bob is just checking anyone in the nest.
5-player hit too. Now you can't dash into the site, but you're also still playing passively here for Fly. Bob tries to go for the hero play and she already loses all of that space.
Right here.
That could be available here for FlyQuest to retake at the beginning, so that'll make the retake even harder, especially after this plant. Slandy now has another 100 Sphere to work with.
Hot starring. And Bob at the null command too, and not having her on this retake is gonna hurt. But the Lear, just as good. 100 Thieves. Got the well, got some time to kill. Alt line, offensive Hunter's Fury. That's the 100 Thieves special. To try and seal the round. FlyQuest have to act the pieces in position. And it's FlyQuest that just get wiped out. And it does end up being an 8-4 half for 100 Thieves.
And you still had a super late lurk from Lydia that hasn't been shown throughout the whole half. That was looking so good for 100 Thieves and how they elaborated and concocted that post-plant hold for 100 Thieves. Again, I think falling at your own demise here is counting too much on the Flood retake's capability of this composition for the side of FlyQuest. But thankfully, this comp is going to be as potent on the attack side to allow at least some plants rather on your attack for FlyQuest. Let's see if they could at least hold it. And from the looks of it, it looks like they want to play some very close range battles thanks to sectioning out the map with the harbor utility, and you're playing frenzies as a death ball close range for mid control.
100 Thieves ended Ascent 8-4 on their first half and then closed it out. So qualification into the main event at arm's reach. FlyQuest was needing a much needed pistol and just using the harbor wall to gain all this space, but the wires get crossed and cuts. Slandy converts a big double kill. 100 Thieves are in position to just cross to FlyQuest as soon as they step towards the spike. Now Louvely has a 1v4 and now a 0v4. 100 Thieves with the pistol.
It became a great, we had the great ingredients, unfortunately, for that pistol round for the side of FlyQuest, but it's just missing somebody to break that recon dart. Doesn't allow for them to really close that gap. That ping got like, what, 3 players? So it was just easy there for FlyQuest, sorry, for 100 Thieves. Even if they were getting flash gooped up, they could just counter spray right through the pings of that recon. And nothing there that FlyQuest could really do off that pistol round. And they didn't even get a plant, and they're still going for a stinger buy. Marceline, unfortunately, not at the right spot, but they still have a pretty decent buy to try to hold this stinger buy.
Okay, 2 trips have been hit. Melia just trying to jump as much damage as they can, but it's enough time for Slandy and Marceline to get into position. And FlyQuest have barely any space to work with, but a gap left, and Ev the damage, giving Thea in a 1 versus 2 a much more doable position, especially with the spike already down. A lot of pushback has been met. The stinger up close. Have enough bullets to deal with it. 6 left and not enough. Lydia with the win.
Oh, so close. Almost very doable for FlyQuest, but it was hella expensive for them to get that plant down. So you're now carrying over 24 plus the 300. Maybe you could go for some small shields rifles, but that was such great delays coming out from the util from Melia to allow Marceline to rotate across and get a lot of pings with the outlaw and getting 2 picks out of that. And I stand corrected actually with the what you have currently is small shields and sheriff only into the buy. So not too much to carry over. I'm gonna try to hopefully buy enough to buy within the next and hoping that these sheriffs are gonna ring true.
That's very deja vu from Ascent when 100 Thieves took the second pistol and they had an 8-4. FlyQuest really have to play flawlessly on lower buys, and just the recons have been killing them. Once again, it goes unchecked. Ev discovered, caught lacking. And that's the opener for 100 Thieves.
Another great start for the defensive side, or just for the 100 Thieves organization as a whole. Everybody's rotating back towards this B side as they realize the A side's shut down by all that breach util. Which Jazzigan's actually never really used a fault line to hold them back in the first place. It just went for an early pick in the very beginning.
Obscuring vision.
Now double trips could be bane of their existence rather, once again, until this knife hits though.
They found my wire.
Being met by a lot more pushback, and there is pushback. Shots from the high ground. Melia has really come alive in the second half. This is just impact play after impact play.
Yeah, and the fact that she was able to pull up her cage just before she got hit by the knife, so she allows herself to just sneak through on the top of the B site. Even if her trips get broken down, the selfless play also from her teammate to push into the smoke to take one before she falls, allowing here Melia to sneak through and get a pick in a 2K to allow 100 Thieves now to put themselves at 11. Very one-sided that we've seen so far in terms of results in all of these maps, but they've always been so close when you look at the final moments of the rounds.
Now when you have to throw the game plan out the window, 100 Thieves are just more adaptive, more fluid. Now on the defense, they'll be sealed off by the harbor wall, and who's going to want to extend out of this? FlyQuest. Bev with no flashes, but teamwork makes the dream work. The FlyQuest revealed within the site. Another Slandy recon helps them get shots through the wall, but FlyQuest just bite back even harder. FlyQuest, you gotta applaud their resilience and being able to still kick back when the odds are against them.
Yeah, great job by Ev to be able to get all those picks too, and for Bob, most importantly, winning that fight against Marceline with, I think, 11 HP remaining in first place. Marceline did a great job with just continuing the pressure and finding the timing to get the backstab rather onto FlyQuest, who are still trying to set up within this B site. But that was technically a bonus round that you had for 100 Thieves. Remember how expensive it was for FlyQuest to try to go for that force buy in that second round and still not get a round on their end. So now it's 100 Thieves moving back through with still a very strong buy, and Hunter's Fury to work with for Slandy.
Marceline, okay, is a lot of trust into Jazzy. One flash out around the corner. That's a big ping. 1, 2, letting them walk by, but not live on. 3 for Marceline. Ev caught a one and done. 4 for Marceline. Ace at the ready. And the last one left. No, Aluvalit denies the ace. But I don't know if you can deny the inevitable. It's a 1 versus 4, and I think Aluvali would like to get the back.
Too easy. Too easy.
Right now, we don't want to overcook for 100 Thieves. She did a great job staying back towards that spawn and using a distance to her advantage where she spots heads first and wins that duel against Slandy. That said, though, she still has the spike to go pick up. Looks like she's going to try to go for it.
Oh, it's just, as soon as you're revealed, it's just the wasps will swarm. And 100 Thieves, match point, series point, main event on the horizon, and the last timeout. Well, at least if FlyQuest don't pull through anyway. They got the ults.
Yeah, that's the silver lining for the side of the attack. It almost feels that they had a nice ult to try to take control of middle in that previous round, but I feel like the Thrash failed to clear that left side of the bookshelf, which allowed Marceline to get such a highlight reel in that previous round. 2 easy kills from the back, especially when the recon even pings players again. So you're looking at 2 different things that within that single round that really foiled your plans, trying to run behind and closing the gap behind a harbor wall. Remember that pistol round we talked about when they're trying to do that with frenzies? Recon Dart spotted 3 players. And now nobody's going to focus on watching that bookshelf because you're so focused on finally breaking that that Recon Dart. Marceline does a great job. Now they have so many rounds to work with. They have their own cycle ults to work with for 100 Thieves too. When we talked about what's available for FlyQuest, it'll be a very difficult ask here for FlyQuest to try to bring this to overtime.
They're able to put up a fight on
Recovering it.
when it came to that first half, but 100 Thieves, once they get rolling, it is hard to put a stop to that pain train. FlyQuest leaning towards A. They really got hurt by the Sentinel setup of Melia. It was really turned up in the second half here of Abyss.
You are divided.
Now the Cosmic Divide seals off that left window. Arbor Wall, Cascade, right through the back. Camera gets destroyed. Slandy helps suppress with the Hunter's Fury, and Melia gets away with stopping the duelist from FlyQuest. Where FlyQuest respond with their own ultimates, the Reckoning to drown out 100 Thieves, but Marceline,
Spike planted.
the only duelist, and a deadly one at that, has truly peaked in her performance when it comes to this map. 22 kills and climbing. Speaking of climbing, no more of that. 8 HP though. Melia can only do so much besides be a threatening presence. And the FlyQuest threat has been thwarted, and 100 Thieves will advance to the main event.
Big congratulations to 100 Thieves. With what's been going on with the roster too, changing the coaching staff in the mid-stage too, and then also showing that they still have what it takes to be one of the top teams that we currently have in Game Changers in North America. They solidify a great third map against their opponents of FlyQuest Red. And 100 Thieves, I mean, this could be a team, the new up-and-comer team that could maybe surpass FlyQuest. And we might be able to see them into a grand finals once again, or for the first time against here SRG.
Yeah, when you saw this Aussie and Friends roster from the beginning, you were like, this roster is way too stacked to not be signed. And 100 Thieves did the scouting, and man, they got a good one. Going to the main event, this has to be a top threat. But still, the goal is in mind of who could dethrone the Shopify Rebellion Gold Squad. And finally, you have all these powerhouses on 100 Thieves.